The Lamborghini Huracan is one of the greatest supercars of all time. It's been a decade since Lamborghini revealed it, and in that time, the car made a massive impact, not just on the road, but on an entire generation of YouTube creators. Here's the strange pattern. Almost every creator who buys one eventually sells it. Think about the classic hype cycle. The shiny new V10 arrives, the exhaust note sounds insane, the views explode, and everything looks perfect. Then, a year or two later, that dreaded sequel video drops. Why I'm selling my Lamborghini Huracan. Sometimes it's simply that a creator wants something newer. But usually, the real reasons are things nobody talks about on delivery day, brutal running costs, warranty anxiety, or the harsh reality that the algorithm has already moved on to the next big thing. For years, the Huracan was the ultimate YouTube cheat code. It dominated thumbnails, racked up views, and served as proof that a channel had officially made it. And yet, creator after creator has said goodbye to theirs. So today, we're breaking down the real reasons why, from the hidden economics of content creation to the sneaky depreciation cycles behind the scenes, by looking at the paths of the major channels that built their brands around this car, and why they ultimately let it go. To understand why so many creators sold their Huracans, you have to understand why they all bought one in the first place. The Huracan launched in 2014 as the successor to the Gallardo, debuting at the Geneva Motor Show with a 610 horsepower naturally aspirated V10 shared with the Audi R8. It was sharper and more high-tech than older Lamborghinis, while keeping the raw, loud personality fans loved. The timing for car YouTube was perfect. The platform was entering its first golden era, with views and ad revenue climbing fast. At roughly $200,000 to $300,000, the Huracan sat at a price point that felt like a genuinely achievable milestone for creators who'd spent years grinding. It was also a cheat code on camera. That wedge shape looked incredible from any angle, and the high-revving V10 soundtrack blew muffled turbo engines out of the water. And unlike the pricier, temperamental Aventador, the Huracan was reliable enough to daily drive, wrap, modify, and track without constant fear of a breakdown. It went on to sell over 20,000 units, and the YouTube world tracked that popularity in real time. Alex Hershey, Supercar Blondie, is one of the clearest examples of this ownership cycle. In early 2019, she debuted a heavily customized Huracan nicknamed Lucy. The custom paint job took 3 weeks to complete in Dubai, and it was so unique that local authorities created a brand new registration category just to approve it. Lucy quickly became a visual anchor across her channels. Alex called it one of the best cars she'd ever owned, but sold it just a year later. Fans speculated wildly, but the real story was tied to a project behind the scenes. She was set to be involved in the launch of a more accessible Bugatti model that ultimately never made it to production. When that fell through, it left a gap in her content plans. She sold Lucy and moved on to a McLaren 720S and a Rolls-Royce Wraith Black Badge. The takeaway: Lucy wasn't sold because the Huracan was bad. It was sold because Alex's brand had outgrown loud performance cars and needed to scale into ultra-luxury territory. Look at her trajectory since McLaren, then Wraith, then an all-electric Rolls-Royce Spectre with a full Mansory kit, and the pattern is obvious. Each car serves a phase of content, peaks, and gets replaced by the next chapter. James Condon, the Stradman, handled his exit differently again. Rather than selling his 2018 Huracan Performante the conventional way, he gave it away to one of his viewers. That giveaway model changes the math for a creator entirely. Instead of one transactional sale, it generates a wave of engagement at exactly the moment a car's story is ending, spread across multiple videos. The announcement, the selection of a winner, and the handover itself. For an audience that's followed a car for years, it turns what would be a quiet dealership sale into a shared celebration. Stradman didn't stay out of a Lamborghini for long. Shortly after, he traveled to New York and paid over $250,000 for a brand new Huracan Sterato, the first Lamborghini he'd ever bought new rather than used. He went all in on the spec: a bright green Verde Scandal paint job, a roof rack, and extensive carbon fiber. The pattern holds, the Performante gets given away, and the new Sterato steps in to replace it. The Huracan was never really abandoned, just continuously cycled, keeping the storyline alive. The part rarely mentioned on camera is that these cars are genuinely expensive to keep. Estimates put basic maintenance on a Huracan at $15,000 to over $21,000 across 5 years. Factor in insurance, fuel, and everything else, and total 5-year ownership costs can reach roughly $257,000. Owners have documented $500 oil changes, $3,000 bills just to clear dashboard fault codes, and engine repairs running as high as $20,000. Depending on usage, annual costs can range from $18,000 to $65,000, just to keep the car sitting in a garage. If a channel is pulling millions of views, those numbers are easily justified. The car pays for itself as a business asset. But the moment content slows down, a car draining tens of thousands of dollars a year with no revenue attached becomes a serious financial liability. Depreciation compounds the problem. Huracan values spiked during the pandemic, peaked around mid-2022, and have slid since, with some variants like the STO and Technica losing value faster than others like the Performante. So when a favorite creator suddenly sold their Huracan, it was often framed as a lifestyle shift or a sentimental goodbye. In reality, it was frequently just a smart, calculated exit before the market and the maintenance bills caught up. There's a third reason creators walk away, and it has nothing to do with money or market timing. It's outright fatigue with the entire supercar content grind. No one illustrates this better than Alejandro Salomon, known as Salamandrin. For years, Salamandrin ran one of car YouTube's most extravagant garages, including a Porsche Carrera GT, a McLaren 720S, an AMG GT-R, and a Huracan Performante, owned right at the peak of its hype, fresh off a Nürburgring record run. Instead of upgrading his fleet, he sold every car he owned and stepped away from automotive YouTube entirely, citing burnout and a shift in priorities. The Huracan was just one piece of a much larger liquidation, proof that sometimes creators don't leave because of the car, but because of the lifestyle it represents. Everything shifted again when Lamborghini officially ended Huracan production in 2023. Its successor, the Temerario, replaces the naturally aspirated V10 with a twin-turbo hybrid V8, faster and more powerful on paper, but a real departure from the raw, unassisted sound that made the Huracan so compelling on camera. That split the community. Some creators sold immediately to cash out before prices shifted. Others held on, recognizing the Huracan as the last naturally aspirated V10 Lamborghini, the kind of rarity that tends to appreciate over time, especially for well-kept, low-mileage examples. Looking back, the Huracan's decade-long run lined up almost perfectly with the golden era of car YouTube. The car and the platform grew up together. It gave an entire generation of creators their first real supercar milestone, and in return, they gave Lamborghini a level of free, hyper-targeted advertising money simply can't buy. The reasons behind each sale were different, but between running costs that can hit $65,000 a year, creative fatigue, and the end of the V10 era, letting go was rarely as dramatic as it looked from the outside. The Huracan didn't leave because it was a bad car. Almost every creator who owned one calls it one of the best things they've ever driven. It left because the story it was meant to tell had already been told, and on this platform, telling the next one always means driving something new.